I'm about to watch the new Buzzfeed Unsolved true crime episode, the thrilling Gardner Museum Heist, and I love this series, this Buzzfeed Unsolved. I like, I like the supernatural one better than the true crime one, just because I really love ghosts. But I like the true crime ones too. I have always kind of been drawn to true crime shows. Like as a child, like a small child, like under 10 years old, I watched a lot of true crime shows, and there was like a point in my life where that was all I was watching on TV was true crime shows. And I was very young, and it was really probably not healthy at all for me to be watching that much true crime, because it gets pretty gory, and the parents probably shouldn't have let me do that, but they were very emotionally negligent. But I like that these get pretty dark too, these BuzzFeed Unsolved ones, but I feel like Ryan and Shane are really funny, and they keep it pretty light. Sometimes they can be like borderline inappropriate, but I still think they're funny. I still really enjoy watching them, and they help keep it light, and so I kind of like satisfy my cravings for like dark, scary, true crime, supernatural, mystery, unsolved stuff, and also kind of not get too down in the dumps usually. So I like this a lot. So let's watch. I'm just gonna film it because I've become addicted to like filming my reactions. I've always loved watching reaction videos, and to my delight I've discovered that I like making reaction videos in addition to watching them. So did I say I liked watching them? I can't remember. Let's watch. Okay.
Yeah, heists are fun. For the most part, they're, I guess, victimless.
You're stealing from largely what? The rich?
I suppose, yeah.
People who own a lot of marble and oil paintings. Yeah, whatever. Steal from them. I don't care.
And there is like a weird impulse to root for the robbers, and yeah. I don't know why that is.
It's fun.
Well, we'll see who you're rooting for in a second. Let's get into it.
Oh shit. I have a precious a butterfly encased in glass.
You have a butterfly encased? Are you like, that's weird, right?
I'm going to head down that
like a serial killer's den? Is that what?
Yes, but sort of like a well-traveled serial killer.
On the night of the heist, two inexperienced guardsmen were on duty. One security guard, "I'd be just getting off of the stage somewhere and just wanted to slow down before I went over to the most boring job in the world," end quote.
I really respect this guy.
I mean,
he is a knucklehead, but he's an honest knucklehead.
He's not trying to say like, I tried my best. This was my passion. This job, I took it very seriously. He's very forthcoming with, yeah, I didn't really like this job.
Because how often does a heist happen? It truly must be the most boring job in the world.
Though, Abbott insists he was sober the night of the robbery and demanded entry. There were St. Patrick's Day parties happening in the neighborhood, so a disturbance call made sense to the security guard Abbott. Also, Abbott added that he wanted to avoid getting arrested because he had tickets to a Grateful Dead concert later that day.
This guy has all the correct motivation. I love that he says he's high all the time except for this one day. He's like, yeah, I'm always stoned. I wasn't that day. And that his priorities, that he's got a fucking Dead show to go to.
And here's the thing. If he was this forthcoming with police officers who may charge him for criminal offenses, I have to imagine he was this forthcoming in the job interview.
Oh, for sure.
So it's almost on the museum themselves for hiring this man.
Abbott buzzed the two policemen through the employee entrance, violating museum protocol, was tricked to leave his control desk, which has the only button that would immediately alert the police. He was then instructed to face the wall and stand spread eagle. Abbott recalls that as he was being handcuffed, he found it odd that he was not frisked beforehand.
Is there a guy on a telephone pole?
We'll get into how this carries.
There better be a guy on a telephone pole.
We'll see.
The men replied, "You're not being arrested. This is a robbery. Don't give us any problems and you won't get hurt." The guard responded, quote, "Don't worry, they don't pay me enough to get hurt."
I'm not taking a bullet for some rich person because they wanted to jaunt around the world and have their art shown.
I'm just realizing now how fun it would be to bond with the robbers. I'm kicking back with these guys.
They had a security advisor come in and be like, you got to change everything. You got to have a control room where the guards are sitting in to have access to all this stuff. And they're like, I guess they ignored it for a while.
Yeah.
And when they finally decided to
Oh, what are you, some kind of security expert? Yes, I am.
Hey, you just heard it here first. You get away with $500 million. That's cool, but if you don't do it with some pizzazz, Shane is disappointed.
How hard is it to rip off a mustache?
Oh my.
I mean, they even had a moment, a really badass moment.
The security guard Abbott could not recall what the men looked like when asked by the Boston police. Abbott recalls that the police sketch, quote, was awful, end quote. Though, in 2005, Abbott mentioned, quote, one of them looked like Colonel Klink on Hogan's Heroes. That's all I can remember, end quote.
Hogan's Heroes.
Yeah.
This guy's the best.
He seems like the most over-the-top cinematic security guard in history.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't write this man.
No, he's a cartoon.
Some wonder why the thieves left behind pieces that were clearly worth more, like a Michelangelo and a Titian.
I always wonder, what do you do with it?
The art
Yeah.
itself? Yeah, because it is hard to
You sell them
sell
in black.
it.
You can't just pop on eBay. Be like, I got a few Rembrandts lying around.
Buy it now at 1 million. Yeah.
That doesn't work.
Yeah.
You gotta, what do you sell it to other criminals?
I have no idea, man. My knowledge of Amazon and eBay is quite extensive, but when it comes to the black market, I'm pretty, not a lot there. I don't really know how it works. Maybe they do have a buy it now auction. So Saddam Hussein was like, outbid it again. Damn it, Kim.
One interesting development occurred in April of 1994. Hilariously, McDevitt and his accomplices got stuck in traffic and arrived after the museum closed, thus foiling their plans. McDevitt
Does have a flair for the
Yeah,
theatrics.
he has a proclivity for costumes.
I like that.
So maybe.
Any talk of mustaches in that one?
I didn't look into that.
No, maybe do a little more research next
Okay,
time
well.
on the mustache front.
Okay, I'll make sure, I'll write that down here. Let me get that pen. Actually, I don't care.
The second theory is a classic, that the heist was an inside job. As mentioned before, Abbott notably could not recall the faces of the robbers shortly after the heist.
I don't know how I would describe your face to someone. I'd just say,
Yeah.
you had a nose, sort of looks like a cartoon gopher.
Yeah, if I had to describe yours, I would say, first off, do you have some paper that could fold out? Because you're going to need a lot of real estate to cover this guy's head.
Yeah.
It's huge. Probably the size of most barn doors.
Also, despite the thieves' failure to destroy motion sensor equipment, the motion sensors, oddly, law enforcement officials believe this person may have been scanning the area for a dry run. Abbott says he does not remember this visitor, despite being caught on tape. Nonetheless, in 2015,
That's something you would remember. Even
Yeah.
if you're sort of intoxicated or out of your mind.
I think you would remember, oh yeah, I let that dude in.
Right. I like that this might be a sort of a Kaiser Soze situation.
Man,
Don't
get-
worry, CC's on the case. Oops, I've been murdered.
Someone come find me now.
Don't worry, help has arrived. Help!
in 1991, about a year after the heist, Arthur
But if they stole precious Rembrandts,
Yeah,
that's lost
for the culture.
for the culture. That's
Yeah.
like someone stealing every copy of Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
You can never watch Forrest Gump again. I love it that they got as theatric as they could. Would have liked some mustache,
You-
obviously.
you wanted
we've
a guy
covered
on the
that.
light- on the telephone
I'd
pole.
like a guy on the telephone pole. But I like that they got in there. They
and the offer was even doubled to a $10 million reward for a short period, but expired on December 31st, 2017. The statute of limitations for the prosecution of theft
Okay, it was a good episode. I'm really cold. If you couldn't tell, I'm filming this outside. So I'm gonna go. Bye!